When the economy collapses and supply chains grind to a halt, the first thing most people buy is food. But what they don't realize is that not all food is created equal when preparing for a long-term economic crisis. Canned goods and fresh produce may get you through a week or two, but what happens when the shelves stay empty for months or even years? That's where long-term food storage becomes not just smart, but critical for survival. The goal here isn't just to fill your pantry, it's to secure calories, nutrients, and variety that will sustain you over time. Think of it as building a food bank for your future self. Focus on shelf-stable foods with a long expiration date, items that can last 10, 20, or even 30 years without refrigeration. Staples like rice, beans, lentils, oats, and pasta are foundational. They're cheap now, lightweight, and easy to store in bulk. But don't stop there. Add dried fruits and vegetables, powdered eggs, canned meats, and high-quality survival meals that are vacuum sealed and nitrogen-packed. These add not only variety and taste, but essential nutrients that your body will need under stress. Don't overlook fats either. Calorie-dense options like peanut butter, olive oil, and powdered butter can provide much-needed energy. Spices and seasonings also go a long way in making bland food more bearable and boosting morale. In a crisis, comfort matters. Another often ignored but important factor is how the food is packaged. Invest in Mylar bags, oxygen absorbers, and food-grade buckets to protect against moisture, pests, and time. If you're storing in a garage or basement, make sure it's temperature-controlled. Heat can shorten the shelf life dramatically. Also, consider your cooking methods. If you rely on electricity or gas to prepare your meals, what happens in a blackout? Invest in off-grid cooking gear like rocket stoves, solar ovens, or propane grills. Think of it as creating a parallel kitchen, one that doesn't rely on the grid, and don't forget to rotate your supplies. Use the oldest items first and replace them as you go. This keeps your inventory fresh and keeps you familiar with the food you're storing. Ultimately, long-term food storage is your insurance policy against the unknown. While others line up for government rations, you'll be feeding your family from a supply you built with foresight. It's not hoarding, it's surviving smart. In any crisis, economic or otherwise, access to clean water becomes an immediate priority. Most people take for granted that they can turn on the tap and get safe drinking water, but in a true Great Depression scenario, public utilities can fail. Water treatment plants may shut down due to funding shortages, lack of manpower, or contamination. If the power grid collapses or infrastructure is damaged, water could stop flowing altogether. That's why having the ability to filter, purify, and store your own water is just as vital as storing food. Start with the basics: water storage. A good rule of thumb is to have at least 1 gallon of water per person per day for drinking and sanitation. For a family of 4, that's 120 gallons for 1 month. Store water in food-grade barrels, jugs, or containers, preferably in a cool, dark place away from chemicals and sunlight. Rotate your water every 6 to 12 months to ensure freshness, but storage alone isn't enough. What if your supply runs out or gets contaminated? That's where water filtration and purification come in. Invest in a high-quality, gravity-fed water filter like a Berkey or an Alexi Pure. These units can remove bacteria, viruses, heavy metals, and even chemical contaminants from almost any water source, including rivers, ponds, or questionable tap water. Portable options like Life straws, Sawyer minis, or Grail filters are lightweight, affordable, and excellent for bug-out bags or emergency kits. Don't rely on just one method. Redundancy is key. Have chemical purification tablets or iodine drops as a backup. Even a few drops of unscented household bleach per gallon can disinfect water in a pinch, though it's less ideal for long-term use. Boiling is another option, but it requires fuel, something you may also need for cooking or heat. Rainwater collection is another powerful strategy. If allowed in your area, install rain barrels or a rooftop collection system with a first flush diverter to collect clean water. Paired with a good filter, this can become a self-replenishing water source. Lastly, educate your family on how to use and conserve water wisely during a crisis. Hygiene is important, but in survival situations, efficiency matters more. Reuse gray water for tasks like flushing toilets or watering plants. Avoid waste wherever possible. In a future where money might be worthless, clean water could be priceless. It's not just about quenching thirst, it's about keeping disease at bay, cooking meals, and staying alive when the system breaks down. Prepare now, because once the taps run dry, it may be too late. When a Great Depression hits, the economy doesn't just slow down, it fractures. Money loses value, banks freeze, credit disappears, and suddenly, the things we take for granted, like buying toothpaste or trading cash for a tank of gas, become incredibly difficult. That's when the true power of barter, ready essentials, comes into play. These are small, everyday items that people will need, not just want, when the system collapses, and if you have them, you'll hold real value in a world where paper money can't buy anything. Barter, ready essentials aren't luxury goods. They're things that improve daily survival, items that offer comfort, sanitation, safety, or relief. Think of lighters and matches for fire starting, over-the-counter medications for pain and illness, or hygiene items like toothpaste, soap, shampoo, and feminine products. When stores are closed or empty, these products become as valuable as gold, not just for personal use but for trade. Alcohol is another big one, not just for consumption, but for sanitizing, wound cleaning, and stress relief. A few small bottles of proof liquor can go a long way in a barter economy. Same goes for tobacco, even if you don't use it. Smokers in crisis will trade almost anything for a fix. Batteries, flashlights, candles, and portable phone chargers also become hot commodities when the power's out. Think beyond basic supplies too. Sewing kits, duct tape, zip ties, and multi-tools become incredibly useful when people have to fix or build instead of replace. Even entertainment items like playing cards, books, or writing supplies can provide stress relief and mental stability, especially for kids and elderly people in your circle. To build your barter stockpile, start small and diversify. Don't just buy one item in bulk. Create a variety of categories: hygiene, medicine, comfort, utility. Store them in waterproof bins or bags, clearly labeled and easy to access. If possible, keep a few duplicates in your vehicle or bug-out bag. One important rule: never barter with your last item. Keep your family covered first. Also, always barter discreetly. Showing your inventory to the wrong person can make you a target. In desperate times, people do desperate things. In a collapsed economy, goods replace currency. The person with the most useful items becomes the one everyone wants to trade with. So ask yourself, if the dollar dies tomorrow, what will you offer the world? Start stocking up on the kind of value that lasts beyond paper. When economic collapse strikes and unemployment skyrockets, security becomes a personal responsibility. Law enforcement resources shrink, emergency services are overwhelmed, and desperation sets in. That's when crime doesn't just increase, it becomes a daily threat. In a Great Depression-style scenario, your safety can no longer depend on calling 911. That's why one of the most critical items to buy before a societal downturn is self-defense gear, because protecting yourself, your family, and your supplies becomes non-negotiable. Self-defense doesn't automatically mean firearms, although for many, that's a cornerstone of their preparedness plan. A reliable, legal firearm with proper training can be a powerful deterrent against looters or home invaders. But defense comes in many forms. Non-lethal options like pepper spray, stun guns, tactical batons, or even high-lumen flashlights can provide quick defense without taking a life. Tactical pens and knives can also double as utility tools and last-ditch protection. Security begins with mindset and preparation. During a collapse, most threats come not from strangers, but from people who know you have resources. That's why situational awareness, operational security OPSEC, and the ability to stay discreet are just as important as the tools themselves. Never show your full stockpile. Never tell people how prepared you are. Keep a low profile and avoid unnecessary conflict. Beyond personal defense tools, consider fortifying your home. Simple upgrades like reinforced door locks, motion lights, window bars, and security cameras, even solar-powered, can make your property a harder target. Barriers buy time, and time buys options. Make your home look like a place that's not worth the trouble. Training is also vital. Owning a weapon without knowing how to use it is dangerous. Invest time into learning self-defense skills, whether that's firearms training, martial arts, or tactical awareness. Confidence, composure, and the ability to make quick decisions under pressure can be just as life-saving as any gear. Also, plan for defense as a family. Everyone in the household should know what to do in case of intrusion or threat. Have a plan, practice it, and keep communication clear. Fear thrives in chaos, but training brings control. Ultimately, when society breaks down, survival doesn't just depend on how much food or water you have. It depends on your ability to keep what's yours, protect your loved ones, and respond calmly when others act out of fear or hunger. Defense isn't about violence. It's about preparation, wisdom, and staying one step ahead of desperation. In a Great Depression-level crisis, food quickly transforms from a convenience into a currency. Grocery store shelves can empty in hours, supply chains falter, and prices skyrocket beyond what most can afford. That's why stockpiling non-perishable food is not just smart, it's a survival necessity. It provides not only nutrition, but also peace of mind when everything else feels uncertain. Food security equals independence, and in a prolonged downturn, that's the kind of wealth you can't afford to ignore. Start with the basics: shelf-stable, calorie-dense, and easy to prepare foods. Think rice, beans, oats, pasta, lentils, canned meats, canned vegetables, and dehydrated soups. These items are inexpensive, widely available, and have long shelf lives, some up to 25 years when stored properly. Don't forget salt, sugar, spices, and cooking oil. These small items make a big difference in morale and flavor when options are limited, but don't stop there. Freeze. Dried meals and Murray meals ready to eat are excellent for long-term storage and quick meal solutions. They're lightweight, compact, and designed to last. These are especially useful during power outages when cooking may not be an option. Include a variety of meals to prevent food fatigue. Eating the same thing every day may be fine short-term, but over weeks or months, it can drain your morale. Consider also building up a food rotation system. Use the FIFO method, first in, first out, to ensure you're eating older items while replacing them with new ones. This keeps your food fresh and reduces waste. Label everything with purchase and expiration dates. Don't forget about special dietary needs either. If anyone in your household has allergies, health conditions, or specific requirements, like baby food or diabetic-friendly items, account for that in your stockpile. These products may be even harder to find during a depression. Storage matters. Keep food in a cool, dry, dark place, ideally sealed in Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers or in food-grade buckets. Rodents, moisture, and heat are your worst enemies. Take time to organize and protect your investment. It's as valuable as any savings account. Lastly, don't underestimate the psychological power of food. Include comfort items, chocolate, coffee, tea, or powdered drink mixes. In hard times, a small treat can lift spirits and restore a sense of normalcy. Stockpiled food is more than preparation. It's leverage. When others are panicking, you'll be eating. When prices soar, you'll have reserves. In the next economic storm, food isn't just fuel, it's freedom. In a full-blown economic collapse, access to basic services like running water, sanitation, and healthcare can break down quickly. When clean water stops flowing from the tap or sewage systems back up, disease spreads fast. And when hospitals are overwhelmed or shut down, your health becomes entirely your responsibility. That's why one of the most overlooked yet critical items to buy before a Great Depression is a fully stocked emergency medical kit and the knowledge to use it. Most households have a few bandages or painkillers in a drawer somewhere. That won't cut it in a serious crisis. You need a comprehensive medical kit that goes far beyond the basics. Start with the essentials: adhesive bandages, antiseptic wipes, gauze pads, medical tape, tweezers, scissors, gloves, and a CPR mask. Then build up with more advanced supplies like trauma dressings, hemostatic agents to stop severe bleeding, splints, tourniquets, eye wash, and burn gel. Next, stock up on over-the-counter medications: ibuprofen, acetaminophen, antidiarrheals, antihistamines, cold medicine, cough suppressants, and electrolyte tablets. Stomach issues and fevers can become deadly when left untreated. Also consider stocking multivitamins to supplement any nutrient deficiencies during food shortages. If you or a family member relies on prescription meds, talk to your doctor about getting a 90-day emergency supply. In a collapsed system, pharmacies may be empty or closed for good. Hygiene and sanitation supplies are just as important. Soap, hand sanitizer, feminine products, toothbrushes, toothpaste, and disinfectants help prevent infection and keep morale up. If toilets stop working, you'll need alternatives, such as buckets with heavy-duty liners and plenty of toilet paper or wipes. But gear alone isn't enough. You must also have the skills. Get basic first aid training. Learn CPR, watch videos, or take community classes on wound care, splinting, and how to handle infections. In a world where emergency response is no longer guaranteed, even knowing how to stop bleeding or treat a fever can save a life. Finally, consider keeping your medical supplies in a water-resistant container with compartments. Organize it so you can quickly find what you need in a stressful moment. Label everything clearly, and just like food, rotate out expired medications and restock your kit regularly. When the systems break down, the ability to care for wounds, treat illness, and prevent infection becomes as essential as food and water. A well-prepared medical kit won't just serve you. It may be the reason someone you love stays alive. Don't wait until it's too late to build it.